Today, Scotiabank Theatre sits alone as West Edmonton Mall's cinema destination. A 12-screen megaplex, complete with an IMAX screen, and recently one of only 30 worldwide to receive a 70mm film print of Oppenheimer. That was a pretty cool experience. Scotiabank Theatre might be West Edmonton Mall's go-to place for films today, but it wasn't West Edmonton Mall's first movie-going destination. It wasn't its second. It wasn't even its third. In West Edmonton Mall's lifetime, there have been 4 multiplex theater destinations. Not many photos seem to exist of these other theaters because, really, at a time before smartphones, who was going to bring a camera to take pictures of a movie theater? Besides, if way back then you were going to take pictures of West Edmonton Mall, there were certainly more interesting things to photograph. The mall, referred to by many to be Canada's Disneyland, first opened over 40 years ago, in September of 1981. But at that time, it wasn't yet the phenomenon that it eventually grew into. All the major attractions and over-the-top additions weren't really on anyone's radar, but it was still quite the destination. It was already the world's largest fully enclosed shopping mall. It had multiple department stores, which was a major draw at the time, and some spectacular fountains with a food court. And 10 days after opening its doors, the mall welcomed its very first cinemas. Cinema 6 from Canadian Odeon Theaters. That logo sure looks familiar. Cinema 6 was situated at the very end of the mall, past the food court. A narrow retail storefront housed the theater box office. The individual auditoriums lived below grade.
In the basement.
Long stairs and an escalator would bring patrons down to the screens. There was an elevator too, but I actually don't remember it. I must have never ridden it. After descending down from the box office, you'd find yourself in the main lobby, featuring a 44-foot-long concession counter selling popcorn, candy, and drinks. It ran along the south wall. To the west were washrooms and games. And to the east and the north, as per the name, there were 6 cinema auditoriums. It was reported that Theater Pair 1 and 2 were able to be combined, with the wall between them sliding away to make a large auditorium able to seat 480 people. However, there's no evidence of this actually happening. It likely never did. I wonder how the logistics of the screen would have worked, but I digress. Cinema 6 opened with, among other films, the Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep feature, Kramer vs. Kramer. The cinemas operated as the lone multiplex offering at West Edmonton Mall for less than 2 years. After first opening its doors in 1981, the mall was already revealing its first expansion in '83. It brought with it the world's largest indoor amusement park. At only a third of the size of what we know it as today, Fantasyland, along with the Ice Palace, marked the first sparks of what would ignite the center into a worldwide spectacle.
Beautifully situated under a huge domed skylight and surrounded by its atrium, the Ice Palace allows visitors to enjoy ice skating the way it was meant to be.
This first expansion also brought a competitor to Canadian Odeon's Cinemas 6, Famous Players West Mall 5. The 5-screen installation began operating on August 19, 1983. Among its opening features, it offered Return of the Jedi and Strange Brew.
Take off, will you? We're doing our movie. Don't wreck our show, you hoser.
The theater was located on the upper floor of the mall's second phase. Today, the Starlight Casino's long, LED-lit psychedelic hallway occupies what previously existed as standard mall concourse. And at the end lived the Fantasy nightclub, and later, the Palace Casino. Both looked out over the Fantasyland amusement park. Midway down the concourse, just inside where the aforementioned light show hallway exists today, was the entrance to the mall's second theater location. It may have had one fewer screen than Cinema 6, but the main auditorium set a record for West Edmonton Mall's largest cinema auditorium, a record that still stands today. Theater number 1 at West Mall 5 had seating for 630 people. Nearly 3 times as large as what you'd find in the mall's original theaters, and 100 more seats than you'd find in the mall's largest theaters today. It also boasted a projector capable of showing 70mm film. In fact, if you looked at any auditorium at West Mall 5, they all sat more than any of those found at Cinemas 6. So, when comparing the 1983 cinema offerings at West Edmonton Mall, the famous Players Theatre, at least on paper, had the better cinema. Okay, so it's 1983. Only 2 years ago, Edmonton had become home to the world's largest mall, and it had just unveiled its newest expansion. Put yourself in the center at that time. No one had ever seen a shopping mall that big, hardly anyone had ever heard of an ice rink in a mall, and the idea of an indoor amusement park existing in a shopping mall? Forget it. This place was on fire. But now, you hear, they're expanding again. Oh, and by the way, we're gonna have an indoor lake. We're gonna have submarines. We're gonna have mini golf, themed streets, and we're opening a zoo. We're gonna have the world's largest indoor water park with a 7-story tall slide tower. Oh, and you know that amusement park we literally just opened? The one that's already the world's largest? Well, we're going to expand that too. Wow, you think. I can't wait to see all that in the next decade. 2 years! We're opening all of that in 2 years. You want roller coaster? Oh, we're gonna give you roller coaster. Okay, I'm sorry. Every time I reflect on the sheer magnitude of it all, it still puts me in awe. And just as they said they would, they more than doubled the size of what was already the world's largest shopping center. And precisely 4 years and 2 days after West Edmonton Mall's first movie theaters opened, a third installation was being unveiled along with the mall's newest expansion. But let's pause for just a moment here. In the time between the mall's 83 and 85 expansions, there was a change in Canada's theater landscape. Cineplex Corporation acquired Canadian Odeon Theaters, resulting in the newly named Cineplex Odeon Corporation. Why does this matter? Well, what would have been 3 separate theater companies operating 3 separate theater locations became only 2 companies. The former Canadian Odeon Cinemas 6 became Cineplex Odeon's Cinema 6, dropping the S from its name. Cinemas 6, Cinema 6. Cinemas 6, Cinemas 6, Cinema 6. Cinemas. But even as Cineplex Odeon's West Mall 8, the newest and largest multiplex theater to date, opened its doors, Cinema 6 still remained in operation. The mall's newest theaters were located in the mall's newest food court, and opened with Invasion USA amongst its offerings. And it had something in common with its Cinema 6 cousin in that it too largely existed below grade. The box office was up front, at food court level, directly next to a massive McDonald's. Behind the box office was a long, curved hallway with ramps and stairs down to the main lobby. You'd encounter the concession stand before making it to the individual theater entrances. As per its name, West Mall 8 featured 8 screens. Its 2 largest sat 450 people each, with the other 6 all accommodating less than 240. With the opening of the newest multi-screen cinema in 1985, the mall now offered 19 screens across 3 different complexes. Now, that sounds like a lot, and it was, but that number was still yet to reach its peak. Though, that wouldn't happen for a while, not for another 15 years or so. In the meantime, West Edmonton Mall would experience its most iconic era. Without a mega mall concept to base itself on, it would just break ground and try whatever it wanted to. Submarine rides, dolphin shows, lazy rivers, arcades, peacocks, mini golf, roller coasters, and free-fall dropping water slides marked more than a decade of what would become known as the 8th wonder of the world. Later, the mall's original cinemas, while still operating under the Cineplex Odeon banner, were transitioned into second-run theaters. The name Cinema 6 was changed to Encore 6, offering any movie, any seat, any day, for $1. With inflation, that's still $1.91 today. Use this as an example the next time someone tries to tell you things haven't gotten a lot more expensive these days. The 1990s at West Edmonton Mall were great. I spent many summers there with my friends, and aside from laughing too loud or running too fast between rides, we never really got into much trouble. But how could you? Equipped with the Super Summer Attractions Pass, paired with $1 movies and $5 supersized McDonald's meals available from 3 different McDonald's locations in the mall, you could go there for the day with $10 in your pocket and still come home with change to spare. But I digress. As the sun was setting on the 1990s, the mall was expanding for the final time. Phase 4 was bringing a whole new millennium, which included an over-the-top theater experience like no other. Famous Players, Silver City.
The heat is enough to bake a marshmallow.
I've already gone into depth on this theater before, so I won't do it again. But if you want a full detailed walkthrough of this theater, and considering it's fire-breathing dragon, I'd say you do, I highly recommend you watch this video. Trust me, it's a gooder. Silver City opened on May 14th, 1999. And unlike its Cineplex competitor, Famous Players didn't even attempt to run two theaters in the same mall. Hence, West Mall 5 ran its final screening the day before on May 13th. The West Mall 5 space was eventually redeveloped to accommodate Jubilation's Dinner Theater, an entertainment destination which operated in several different locations at West Edmonton Mall, and still entertains guests there today. Back in May of 1999, you could have watched The Matrix in Phase 2 on one day, and then watched it again in the brand new Phase 4 theater the next. After which, you would pre-buy your tickets for Star Wars Episode 1. Which, upon opening in the coming weeks, would run for 24 hours a day non-stop at Silver City. And at the time, no one would even judge you for buying tickets for it. None of us knew any better. Yippee! And so, starting in 1999 and going on for just shy of 5 years, West Edmonton Mall operated with 27 cinema screens, 21 first-run auditoriums, and 6 second-run options. I vividly remember not caring about movie times back then. If I was dead set on seeing a movie, there would just be a time that worked for me. I just knew it. That didn't last forever though. On April 29th, 2004, just 22 years, 7 months, and 4 days after West Edmonton Mall's very first movie theater opened its doors, Encore 6 ceased operation. Its shell was redeveloped into a massive skate shop, West 49, equipped with an impressive indoor skate park. And today, the location is home to Drive Karting, the multi-million-dollar 3-level indoor go-kart track. But for the first time in more than 18 years, the mall had less than 3 operating cinemas. And not long after, in 2005, Cineplex acquired Famous Players. So the writing was on the wall for West Mall 8. Much like when Heritage Mall was bought by the owners of Southgate, there was no longer competition. There was corporate cost savings. 3 years later, on September 11th, 2008, West Mall 8 closed its doors and what we know as Scotiabank Theatre became West Edmonton Mall's Lone Theatre. West Mall 8 was transformed into an undoubtedly large but somewhat average-looking retail location. Yet, if you look at the space with the right eyes, you can see how the layout actually mimics how the lobby originally appeared. Today, I still go to West Edmonton Mall. It might be pushing 25 years old, but Scotiabank Theatre still has everything it needs to entertain as a run-of-the-mill Cineplex location. So, yeah, I'm happy to have it. But in many, many ways, I truly miss the days before its dragon bit the dust. So, the next time you're going for a spin on some of Edmonton's most thrilling carts, or buying 3 belts for $8, or just feeling like a groovy human being in a psychedelic hallway, stop and think back. Remember that each one of these locations started off as something completely different. Reflect on the fact that, in an era before Netflix and smartphones, there was virtually nothing better than experiencing the magic of the silver screen with a group of friends. And if you wanted to do that, you could definitely find something to watch on one of the 32 screens which have existed over the years at the movie theaters of West Edmonton Mall.